Rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we go into our moment of silence, I would like to say a few things here on behalf of City Council, administration, and myself. I would like to extend our condolences to the family of Rich Badorf. Rich was a huge advocate for Wauseon. He graciously served his community with love and with pride. He sat on City Council, Homecoming Committee, Downtown Association member, Rotary, and numerous other boards and committees for the City of Wauseon. Rich proudly represented our Wauseon students and sports programs with his commentary on INTV. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his family and his grandchildren. Our friend will be sadly missed, but his contributions and loyalty towards our city will never be forgotten. So, moment of silence, please. Roll call, Meg.
Councilor Coast?
Here.
Councilor Strata?
Here.
Councilor Shamp?
Here.
Councilor Chamberlain?
Present.
Councilor Sturts?
Here.
5 members are present. Councilor Fry is absent. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Approval of prior meetings minutes.
So approved. So motion. Second.
Motion moved by Councilor Chamberlain and second by Councilor Sturts. Councilor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Councilor Sturts?
Yes.
Councilor Shamp?
Yes.
Councilor Strata?
Yes.
Councilor Coast?
Abstain, I was absent.
4 yeas, 1 abstain. Motion carries.
We have nobody wishing to address council at this time, so let's move into committee reports. Finance.
Well, the Finance Committee met on June 10th to address the Pool Advisory Committee's proposal to have the city or have the voters finance a new pool at $1.4 million through a tax levy. The Finance Committee discussed pros and cons between using one-year notes and rolling them over that 5-year period or to bond it out. The interest rates vary, and there were other items involved there, but ultimately the Finance Committee did approve, and we are recommending to Council tonight to proceed with a tax levy in the amount of $1.4 million plus interest over a 5-year period to be placed on the ballot for the purpose of constructing and operating a new pool. We also then discussed, Jamie Jagir, the Finance Director, explained to us that based on the Linfoot Street project, the way it needs to be accounted for, according to state standards, is that the city will need to budget 100% of the project. That includes the state part of it. And then as the state makes their payments, we will need to record that as a receipt and a payment so that the whole thing shows up on our books. And she was just forewarning us that she will have to amend the budget in the future. We won't actually be spending any more dollars, but it's our method of accounting for it. So that takes no action at this time.
Any discussion on the finance? Okay, so we have a couple things there. Make a motion on the minutes.
Make a motion to accept the Finance Committee recommendation.
Second.
Motion moved by Councilor Chamberlain and second by Councilor Coast. Is there any discussion? Councilor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Councilor Coast?
Yes.
Councilor Strata?
Yes.
Councilor Shamp?
Yes.
Councilor Sturts?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries.
Right, I was just. Okay, thank you. Department heads. David.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Working through downtown revitalization grant currently. Just advertised a notice of intent for request for release of funds. The county commissioners, that will be on their agenda. It's scheduled for tomorrow, but signatures for the documentation to go down to the state cannot be signed until the 18th. So that will be their formal request to release those funds for the private rehab portion of the grant. And then once we get that approval and those funds are released, I have 2 folks that I'm working with now the Sunshine Communities, and the funeral home across from the Western District Courthouse where our office is. Then I suggest or recommend that maybe a meeting be held with maybe local contractors and inviting the building business owner folks, so we can say, hey, we've successfully took these folks through, this is how we do it, fast track the process a little bit with some, educated process, and I think it'll move a little bit faster. But we still have till August 2016 to get this money spent, so I'm not too concerned about it, but I want to make sure that that interest is still there to work through that program. Also, with the Targets of Opportunity grant with the Wauseon Public Library, I saw some information was shared that that's a Department of Education grant. That is not, that's a Community Development Block grant. So I just wanted to make sure that that information was put out there. That's under the Community Development Block Grant Program. And that application is still pending for approval. That's all I have.
Do you see that one coming forward pretty soon?
I hope so. I called down there and the application deadline was June 10th, so I would suspect it'd take a little bit. It's usually about a month and a half, 2 months turnover on those applications when they're turned in. So I'm optimistic.
Good. Bill?
Yesterday and tonight, the Wauseon Fire Department is hosting a grain bin rescue training at Sandland Farms, which we all know is where Breakfast on the Farm was on Saturday, which was a very successful event. We had members there Saturday to assist with the event. We had crews there yesterday for the actual training with the State Fire Marshal's Office, and Chief Sluter's there tonight attending training again for that, for those that couldn't be there Sunday. For some of you that know, on Saturday afternoon, there was an injury crash on North Shoup Avenue that involved a Fulton County EMS vehicle. It did not involve any of our people or any City of Wauseon equipment. We did assist with the crash itself, but none of our people were involved. The fireworks fundraiser that was scheduled for Tiny's for yesterday was postponed due to threatening weather. Unfortunately, we never really did receive the threatening weather. But we've rescheduled the event for this Sunday at 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And if anybody's available to help, any help is greatly appreciated. And last but not least, fireworks are scheduled for Friday night, July 3rd at Dorothy Biddle at dark. We've been encouraging people to donate as the donations have started to dwindle. Donations can be done online at wauseonfire.com, or they can mail it directly to the association. And we have a rain date for July 5th, which is Sunday.
Okay, great. Chief?
Just a couple of quick notes. First, I want to let you know that we finished up our first week of the first session of Safety City. We have a total of 64 kids involved in it this time around, and we are approaching 100% funding through donations. So I want to thank all the community members and everyone that's donated to Safety City. We finished up our Youth Police Academy with 17 graduates. That ended this Friday as well. And as of about 15 minutes ago, Mr. Cordoba is back in the Ohio in our custody and currently being questioned by our detectives, and will be transported to CCNO where he will be held until his arraignment at Fulton County Common Police Court.
Did Wauseon officers go and provide the extradition?
The federal marshals took him to Detroit Metro. Lucas County picked him up from Detroit Metro, and we picked him up from Lucas County.
Thank you, Chief.
Yep.
Tom?
Just so council will be aware, 2 businesses downtown came before the downtown committee last week and got approval. One of them is Sullivan's. You'll see he's going to be erecting some fencing. It's the first part of a phase that he has to enhance the south side of his building to be used for rental areas for events. He hopes to have the first phase done in time to be able to do something with homecoming committee. And the other one is the owner of the Upper Crust Bakery has finally come in and got approval for her plans to change the exterior, and her plans are down at Wood County for the interior, and look for her to be starting pretty soon on her stuff. So we have 2 of them that should be starting, Sullivan's especially, within the next week or 2 to get
Is that
done.
patio, or is that a?
He's doing the fencing first, and then you'll have his goal is to have a poured patio, so it'll be a fencing and landscaping, then the patio that he could use for, put up a tent for different events, Scott had said, so, you know, but he wants to be able to work with homecoming committee possibly this year on having something inside the fenced area, so.
Sounds good, thank you.
And a couple of our empty properties I came across, they are now under the care of some of these property maintenance. So a couple of them, one down near you, Jeff, the one in that corner, they were just there today, so it'll probably take them a week or 2 to get that cleaned up. But, so the banks are starting to take some responsibility for some of the empty properties. So that's it.
Thank you. Dennis?
Out of the water reclamation plant, the digester lid replacement project is going forward. Construction is essentially complete on the new replacement lid, and in between rain showers, the contractor's been trying to sandblast and prime that structure with some difficulty. We got a schedule for the biosolids study. The proposed schedule would have it completed sometime in January, which is about appropriate for everything that needs to be covered there. The Shoup Avenue Water Tower, the aeration and mixing equipment contract documents have been finalized, and a notice to proceed has been issued to the successful contractor. So we're trying to get that taken care of as quickly as possible. On the Linfoot Street project, ODOT has indeed encumbered the grant funds in the amount of $1,658,400. I didn't do the rest of the math. I can't tell you exactly what our share is, but the total project is $2.4 million and change. So that's all very good. I also met with Scott Nagel of Vernon Nagel Incorporated since we last sat together. Signed contract documents and discussed things like schedule and his subcontractors, what to do with the spoils, insurances, and other important particulars. Other than that, gearing up for the 4th of July, there'll be a ball tournament again at Biddle Park prior to, or during, since it's on Friday. And Public Works guys are trying to keep things spiffy in between rain showers. So.
Dennis, do you know how many teams have signed up for that? Do you have any idea?
I don't. I tried to get with Aaron today, and he and I were not able to cross paths. But I think probably about as many as we had last year. I think the team from Canada's coming back, I believe, too.
Yeah.
So we're international.
Yeah.
Okay, Jamie, go ahead.
I do not have much tonight, but I did want to thank everybody that has signed up for their email text us, and especially the fire department. They've worked really hard at getting everybody signed up there. So I've got more than 50%, probably 60% of all employees are now signed up. So we're going to save a lot of paper. So thank you.
Okay. Tom?
Jamie and I have been working behind the scenes with Squires, formerly Squire Sanders, now Squires Patton and Boggs, in trying to get them in a position, if council were, which it did approve the recommendation of the Finance Committee, to get the process rolling. So what will happen, just to sort of say something about that quickly, the next 2 meetings we will have resolutions for you which will be necessary to be passed in order to get the ballot language ultimately on the ballot. I think the first will probably have to pass by emergency. The second, we may be able to get 2 reads on it, but there'll be additional legislation for council to approve in order for the ballot language to appear consistent with the committee's recommendation. And I'm happy to report, I think next meeting we will likely be able to have a resolution before council to approve the actual transfer of the ball diamond to the Ball Diamond properties to this school. I think we're 9.9 of the way there, and I think the school board will be acting similarly to get it approved on their end. So hopefully that will come to a close in the near future. Working on some other, still clean up on some real estate projects, one with David and some other matters. Oh, and I did want to say, just with respect to the Ball Diamonds, not only are we international, but I think I can say, as a connoisseur of the wieners, that the park now officially has the best hot dogs of any ballpark that I've attended in Northwest Ohio in the last several months. I don't know where Aaron got them,
Me too.
but I told him that they taste beefy and they're huge. And he said they're having trouble keeping them in stock, so for all you baseball fans, come out to the ballpark and enjoy the hot dogs and see some good baseball.
Yeah.
And the Diamonds, by the way, down at the new hub there are just wonderful. The grassy fields, the kids love playing on them. So
We've been
props to
fortunate, actually, the
Rotary
rain
and
is
the
helping that.
city for getting that done.
This weekend, I think we had 27 softball teams that are scheduled to be out there, so it'll be a busy weekend.
This weekend coming up?
Hopefully the weather holds up.
What time does that start?
Friday, I think first game's 4 o'clock, and then runs up through Sunday.
Everybody get your hot dogs.
Yeah,
Go
make
watch
sure
some
Aaron is
softball.
stocked up. Yeah.
I gotta get 3 games this week.
Okay, great. All right, we have nothing under first reading, so we're going to move on to second reading of legislation. Ordinance 2015-4, directing the city clerk to file a copy of proposed charter amendment revising the qualifications of a council member under section 3.02B and adding a new section 3.02C to provide a method of removal for placement by the Board of Elections on the ballot at the next regularly scheduled election.
Second reading?
Second.
Motion moved by Counselor Coast and second by Counselor Shamp. Is there any discussion? Counselor Coast?
Yes.
Counselor Shamp?
Yes.
Counselor Strata?
Yes.
Counselor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Sturts?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Ordinance 2015-4 passes on second reading.
Ordinance 2015-6, directing the city clerk to file a copy of proposed charter amendment eliminating the acting mayor's ability to vote twice under section 5.03B for placement by the Board of Elections on the ballot at the next regularly scheduled election.
Getting closer. Second reading.
Second.
Motion moved by Counselor Sturts and second by Counselor Coast. Is there any discussion? Counselor Sturts?
Yes.
Counselor Coast?
Yes.
Counselor Strata?
Yes.
Counselor Shamp?
Yes.
Counselor Chamberlain?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Ordinance 2015-6 passes on second reading.
Wait, can I vote for Rick?
No.
he's not
Can't
here.
vote twice.
Rick's not here.
Take that other hat off. Ordinance 2015-7, directing the city clerk to file a copy of proposed charter amendment eliminating reference to the Director of Finance in nominations and elections under Section 9.01 for placement by the Board of Elections on the ballot at the next regularly scheduled election.
Second reading?
Second.
Motion moved by Counselor Chamberlain and second by Counselor Sturts. Is there any discussion? Counselor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Sturts?
Yes.
Counselor Shamp?
Yes.
Counselor Strata?
Yes.
Counselor Coast?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Ordinance 2015-7 passes on second reading.
Ordinance 2015-8, directing the city clerk to file a copy of proposed charter amendment eliminating lack of qualifications as a basis of removal of a public official under Section 11.01C for placement by the Board of Elections on the ballot at the next regularly scheduled election.
Second reading.
Second.
Motion moved by Counselor Shamp and second by Counselor Coast. Is there any discussion? Counselor Shamp?
Yes.
Counselor Coast?
Yes.
Counselor Strata?
Yes.
Counselor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Sturts?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Ordinance 2015-8 passes on second reading.
Okay, third reading. Resolution 2015-15, authorizing the mayor to grant a permanent and temporary easement to Rover Pipeline, LLC, for the purpose of constructing and maintaining a gas pipeline across the Rails to Trails bike path and declared an emergency.
Motion to suspend the rules and declare an emergency on Resolution 2015-15.
Second.
Motion moved by Counselor Chamberlain and second by Counselor Estrada. Is there any discussion? Counselor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Estrada?
Yes.
Counselor Coast?
Yes.
Counselor Shamp?
Yes.
Counselor Sturts?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries.
Final passage.
Second.
Motion moved by Counselor Shamp and second by Counselor Coast. Counselor Shamp?
Yes.
Counselor Coast?
Yes.
Counselor Estrada?
Yes.
Counselor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Sturts?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays, resolution 2015-15 passes on emergency and is now in effect.
Under new business. Reggie, did you want to say anything else?
Yes. INTV will be meeting this Wednesday to discuss, I don't want to say the replacement of Rich Badorf because he's somewhat irreplaceable. He's been sports commentating for Wauseon for a little over 20 years from just about every sport under the sun. I really don't know where we're going to start just yet. Everybody in the INTV board has agreed to pitch in and try to cover as many activities as we can. He would have wanted to go on. He was a mentor to myself. He was my best friend's father. He had numerous grandchildren, and as the mayor went through, he sat on just about every board Wauseon had to offer. He will be missed, and my deepest condolences to his family.
Thank you, Martine. I wanted to add one more event that's coming up, and this event I think was started with Mayor Matheny early in the 90s, I'm thinking. The Strawberry Fest is back, and it's Saturday, starts at 11, I think, and it goes until the strawberries are gone. So we are starting it off with the farmers market again downtown. Yay, that's a great thing to have, and the Strawberry Fest will be following. So go watch some softball, get your hot dog, and come get dessert uptown, and then go back and get another hot dog. So, anything else? Okay. Can we have the approval of bills?
Make a motion that we pay the bills.
Second?
Motion moved by Counselor Chamberlain and second by Counselor Shamp. Counselor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Shamp?
Yes.
Counselor Estrada?
Yes.
Counselor Coast?
Yes.
Counselor Sturts?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries.
Motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second?
Motion moved by Counselor Coast and second by Counselor Shamp for adjournment. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Now, we don't watch now.
I got to watch my grandkids tonight.